Quick disclaimer before starting this video. Keep in mind this is 100% my opinion, and this video is meant to be nothing more than that. If you disagree, I couldn't care less. Leave a dislike, leave a comment explaining why I'm quote-unquote wrong, I couldn't care less. With that out of the way, let's get into it. The Last of Us, particularly the first one, is a great game, but I feel like the main problem with The Last of Us as a series today is you, the fans. It feels like anytime anyone has literally anything remotely critical to say about The Last of Us, they will defend it to the ends of the earth because they strongly feel that their favorite thing on the planet is perfect in every way and cannot be criticized. If you love everything The Last of Us, that's fine. I'm just asking that you respect my opinion because it seems like some of The Last of Us fans don't respect others' criticism. Keep in mind there, I said some, not all. So anyway, let's discuss why, in my opinion, The Last of Us has reached the point where it's overrated. Rewinding a little bit, I'll start by talking about the first game, originally released in 2013 for the PS3. Like others, I have played the game, and I love it. But is it really one of the greatest games ever made? One of the greatest stories ever told in a video game? Sure. But gameplay-wise, is it really one of the greatest ever? They basically took Uncharted gameplay and adapted it to The Last of Us, and while the combat encounters are fun, they're not as deep or engaging as, say, Doom, for example. And for the type of game it is, I wouldn't say it needs deeper gameplay, but I just think it needs more of something to be considered one of the greatest games ever made. Again, in regards to story and characters, I completely agree. It's great. But again, gameplay-wise, I can't say it's one of the greatest games ever, because it's not as engaging or as deep to give it that replay value. And because of the game's success, they remastered it for PS4 and just released a remake for PS5, both of which don't need to exist because the original version on PS3 still looks fucking gorgeous. And what also arose from Part 1's success was a sequel. Now, I'm not going to talk about Part 2 as much because it's been discussed to death for the past 3 years, and because I plan on making a video about it soon, so I'm going to keep this section brief. I am very much in the camp that Part 2 is a bad game. The writing was so poorly done and completely took away from what made Part 1 so great. People loved Part 1 for the dynamic between Ellie and Joel. So when you remove that in Part 2, what do you have? An incomplete, hollow story with a new yet shitty character who no one knows or can properly empathize with. So when Part 2 plays out the way it doesn't feel satisfying or rewarding. Instead, it feels disappointing as hell and you feel empty for not getting a proper outcome. The argument that also likes to come up is you can sneak in grass now and use silencers. Sorry, I had a little something lodged in my throat there. People will also defend this game to the ends of the earth, and if you love it that much, that's fine. I just don't like it personally, and I could list more reasons as to why I don't, but it's been talked about to death and I'm sick of arguing with people about it, so I'll just leave it at this. This game is super divisive. People really love it, and people really hate it. I don't necessarily hate it, I just don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. Again, if you love it or if you just like it, that's fine. Just don't crucify me or anyone else who disagrees because we voiced our opinion on the one thing you love so dearly. Last but not least, we have The Last of Us TV show. Now, like everyone else, I don't think it would be stretching to say that we were all concerned when this show was announced. If you know anything about video game to movie or show adaptations, you'll know almost all of them have been bad. The worst offender of this, if I had to guess, would be Doom, starring The Rock. However, that doesn't seem to be the case now. Detective Pikachu and both Sonic movies received universal praise, and most recently, The Last of Us is no exception, along with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. People apparently love it and dig Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Initially, they got shat on for not looking like their video game counterparts. Now, I'll just say this, I don't give two shits about what they look like, I just care if they capture the heart of the characters and the game. And according to reviews, they seem to have done it pretty well. There's not much more to say, I haven't seen the show so I can't really form an opinion on it. If you haven't noticed, there has been a pattern regarding both The Last of Us games and The Last of Us TV show. It has all received good praise. The first game, understandably. The second game, meh. The TV show, I can't say if it warrants it or not. But people will defend this series to the ends of the earth and it's honestly scary. I like to call these people the Swifties of the gaming community. They will come at your throat and call you the most hateful person for being critical of something they love so dearly. This goes for practically everything too. If you voice your opinion online, people will be relentless towards you for no reason at all. I started making this video before the PC port for Part 1 came out, and that seemed some pretty negative press, and rightfully so. Though it's only people who have actually bought it or are willing to shit on it, I don't see a lot of people really talking about it that much. I see smaller YouTubers and small news outlets talk about it, and I check the Steam reviews from time to time, of which have gone back up to mixed, by the way. I think people really only want positive press about The Last of Us to reach a wide margin and won't say anything negative because they're afraid to get called out on it. However, I'm not. Like I said, The Last of Us fans are just the Swifties of the gaming community. Now keep in mind, this video is not an attempt to change your opinion or say you're wrong for having an opinion. This is actually the opposite. This video should be an attempt at opening up your mind for criticism on something you love and being open for discussion about it, instead of closing off all criticism and arguing with anyone who disagrees and calling them a hateful bigot. Who knows, this video was probably pointless, but I at least just wanted to make that attempt and try to make the point that I'm disappointed with where The Last of Us and its fanbase has come to. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you want more gaming content, subscribe to the channel. If you disliked, leave a dislike and leave a detailed comment explaining why I'm a hateful bigot. So that's going to do it for me. Much love, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.